Hello my Wolfpack and welcome to a brand new video on the channel. This is something that I'm super excited to bring to you, and as you can probably guess from the current slide that is on here, we have joined the TBL Summer League. Now the TBL Summer League this year is really interesting. Basically it is a low tier format. So basically anything from like tier 3 or below that isn't considered too amazing is available, which is really cool. There's a total of 12 coaches, so a total of 12 coaches in this league, and we've teamed up. So we have 6 teams of coaches, which is a really fun concept. I am teamed up with T-Shen. Some of you that might have been in draft might know of T-Shen. He's a really fantastic battler. He's done super well in a lot of leagues. He usually makes it to playoffs, which is really fantastic. I think he's done like 25 plus leagues, which is absolutely amazing. So me and him are teamed up because I am someone with less experience. I do have probably considerably less experience than a lot of other people in Draft League, even though my record is really good. Yes, so we have joined the TBL Summer League here. Really excited about this. Low tier format is kind of one of my favorite formats. Like you'll probably remember if you've been on the channel for a while, I did a Little Cup format a few months ago, and that was a lot of fun. In fact, actually, I think that was almost a year ago now, which is absolutely crazy. Excuse me, I've just got a bit of thing in my throat. So yeah, Summer League is where it is at. Now our team is looking relatively nice. I'm still not 100% sure on it. I might do some tweaks and some changes, but I did get sniped a lot in this league, a lot of times in this. And we have got some really nice Pokemon, and I'm really enjoying the idea of using a lot of them as well. I've only used one of these Pokemon before, so in draft format that is. So let's go into this. So first of all, we have got Xurkitree. Now Xurkitree is a really cool Pokemon, super high special attack, relatively high speed, which will combine with a couple of other strats that I have. And Xurkitree honestly just hits like a truck. The main issue with Xurkitree is it doesn't get the biggest amount of coverage, so it's got things like electric type attacks, grass type attacks, and fairy type attacks, but that's basically where it ends. So things like steel types can kind of wall quite easily against Xurkitree, so that is a little bit of a concern. But Xurkitree, if I can get it set up, it will just be able to really hit super hard. So obviously things like steel and electric, I think there are a couple of them. I know there's obviously Magnezone, but I believe T-Shen has Magnezone, so that's not going to be a concern. Yeah, Xurkitree is going to be a lot of fun to use, definitely. I should also say as well, there are currently 2 leagues. So, in a way, each member of the team is on a Wi-Fi League or a Showdown League. I'm in the Wi-Fi League, and T-Shen is in the Showdown League. And basically, we both have to try and win our battles, essentially, is what is happening. But yeah, Xurkitree is going to be a lot of fun to use. I think this is going to be a key player. I think we definitely will be able to get some sweeps with Xurkitree, 100%. And supporting Xurkitree is Araquanid. Now, Araquanid is a really fantastic mon. It can be run offensively, it can be run as an assault vest, it can be run defensively. It has access to things like Leech Life, Recovery, Reflect. It has access to Liquidation and the Water Bubble. I think Water Bubble is the ability where obviously the doubles the power of the water type attacks. Got Water Absorb if I ever need it. We have got access to Sticky Webs. Now Sticky Webs is going to work fantastically with Xurkitree. So Xurkitree, I could potentially just go as a max speed set, or as much speed as possible, and go for the Sticky Webs with Araquanid early on in the match, and that would allow for Xurkitree to be able to put in a lot of work, because obviously the majority of Pokemon that are not affected by webs are going to be weak to Xurkitree. So that's something that I really do like about this combination. Araquanid is going to put in a lot of work, I'm sure. It is just a mon that's really fantastic. And one that I haven't used too much. Initially I didn't like it. I did use it a little bit in competitive in Gen 7, but I haven't really used it in Gen 8. So I think this thing is going to be a lot of fun to use, honestly. I really do like Araquanid. I didn't like it initially, but I do like it now. So that is something that I'm definitely going to be kind of getting into and using Araquanid, because I think it's definitely going to be a really good mon in our team. Next up, we've got Thwackey. Now, Thwackey is really awesome. Obviously, being able to set up the Grassy Surge. Now, if the opponent doesn't clock that, then I am going to half the power of any Earthquakes or Magnitudes, or there's one other move, and I can't remember what it was. I think it's Bulldoze, might be Stomping Tantrum, I can't remember which one it is. It might not even be either of those, it might be something different, but it really helps potentially with circuitry if the opponent has Earthquake instead of like high horsepower or something, or if it doesn't have a good different access to a different ground type move. So Thwackey, setting up the Grassy Surge can definitely be really supportive here as well. And it also has access to things like Grassy Glide, access to Drain Punch, Knockoff, U-Turn. So lots and lots and lots of different really good moves to give really good support to the team. It can be run with Eviolite so it can live a few hits. And yeah, this thing honestly is going to be putting in a lot of work, I am sure. I definitely think I'm really excited to use this. Obviously, Rillaboom is banned because it is not low tier, it is tier 1. Typically, I can't imagine it being tier 2. I think it's definitely always going to be tier 1. But Thwackey, with that Grassy Surge ability, is going to be doing fantastic work. Excuse me, my hay fever's playing up and I've got really kind of throaty. Next up, I wanted to go for a little bit of bulk here. So we've got Umbreon. Umbreon obviously being one of the most bulky mons to deal with. Fighting type attacks, it combines really nicely with Araquanid on the defensive front. Because obviously the main weakness is fighting types, also fairy types as well. But Araquanid deals with the fighting types. And Umbreon, just really cool support Pokemon. Got Wish, Protect, Foul Play. Even can set up like a curse set if need be. Like, you know, it can do different things. It's also got access to things like Toxic, which can be causing problems for the opposing team. I think it gets synchronized as its ability, so that's really cool as well. And honestly, it can just like wall different things, potentially, especially if I've got a physical opponent. It can definitely go for foul plays to really start to damage that down. And yeah, Umbreon hopefully is going to be a really fun one to use. Heal Bell as well, because honestly, I don't really want my physical Pokemon to be burnt, and I think Will-O-Wisp is going to be quite a frequent thing here, because honestly, I have got a lot of physical Pokemon. Moving on, next up, we've got Cofagrigus, and originally I didn't pick up Cofagrigus, but I did this time, and this gives me access to obviously Shadow Ball, being able to set up certain God, I can't, sorry. Be able to set up certain, I think, spikes you can set up as well. It's got access to a really good defense. It can be offensive as well, possibly. And yeah, I love using Cofagrigus. I've always used it as kind of a defensive mon, but I think it definitely can put in a lot of work here. I do need to double check what moves it does exactly get, because I'm pretty sure it does get a large variety of moves that can really put pressure on the opponent. Obviously, Toxic and Will-O-Wisp are going to be options as well, which can really, really work. And even like a Body Press Iron Defense set, like that is a thing that Cofagrigus gets, and that would be really, really fun to run, especially with Cofagrigus having such a high defense stat. And if the opponent's running really physical mons, Will-O-Wisp it, and then go for the Iron Defense, and we can just start putting in lots and lots of work. Moving on, next one, we've got Galarian Articuno. Now, Galarian Articuno was a mon that originally, like, when it first came out, I wasn't 100% sure of it. I was just a bit like, is it good? Is it bad? I don't know. It has got recovery. It's one of the only one. It's the only one of the three that does get recovery. It's really nice for it to be able to recover itself, but obviously, not obviously anything. It gets U-turn. U-turn's really helpful. It allows us to get out of any scenarios. We're quite fast as well, so it can definitely give us some upper hands there. We've got access to the Freezing Glare, which is really, really good. Hurricane, Air Slash. I think it gets a variety of other moves. Reflect, Light Screen, Trick Room, Tailwind, all those kind of things. If I want to run a really slow team on 1 week, I can definitely go for a Trick Room scenario. So, you know, Galarian Articuno is actually going to be really, really helpful with this team. Also, competitive as an ability is really, really good. Just in case like there is an accidental stat drop, because things like Shadow Ball are commonly used against it. That drop will definitely lead to Articuno having a +2 in its special attack, and potentially could go on for a sweep, which would be really fantastic. Next up, we've got the Bull itself. Honestly, Tauros is one of my favourite mons to use, one of my favourite normal type mons to use. It is fast, it is bulky, it has such a variety of moves it has access to. It has Sheer 4 Life Orb, it has Intimidate as an ability, it has Anger Point if you're up against it on a Shifu that's going for like Surging Strikes or Wicked Blow or something. If you're going for like defensive investment, you can then just really, really plow through your opponent's team. But yeah, Tauros is a really, really fun one to use. I absolutely love it. It's got access to such a variety of moves, so it can hit almost anything for super effective damage. the only downfall is that we can only have 4 moves with it, and that is kind of a problem. I think it does have ability to set itself up in some respects as well, so obviously that's really good. But the main thing is like that Sheer Force Life Orb with the speed. It combines really nicely. It means that like things like Body Slam will do a heck of a lot of damage, especially now that Return has gone. Tauros really does allow to do that damage with the Body Slam, and obviously with the Sheer Force Life Orb, if your attack does not has a secondary effect, sorry, then your Life Orb will not activate, so you will not lose for the Body Slam, for example, or other things like Throat Chop. You won't lose as well, I think. Next up, we've got Hitmonlee. Now, Hitmonlee, another big hitter here, and as you can see, there are a lot of physical mons on this team, but Hitmonlee is a really awesome mon. Unburden as an ability. It's got Limber. I am so sorry. Realistically, Hitmonlee is always going to be Unburden. It's got things to access like Normal Gem, Fake Out, which is really good. I can also combine it with Thwacky really nicely to get the Grassy Seed on it, allowing me to have the Grassy Terrain set up, and then Hitmonlee comes in, gets a +1 in defense, which is always really helpful for Hitmonlee because it is frail. And then we can go for those hard-hitting moves with the Unburden boost. And access to a variety of moves as well, like Knock Off, Blaze Kick, Close Combat. I think there's a few other moves that it gets access to, which is really good. Honestly, it puts in so much work here. And I think Hitmonlee is going to be a high flyer of this team. Definitely could see it getting a few sweeps because it just works so well. And especially in combined with Thwacky, and also things like Sticky Webs. So any Scarf Pokemon can be put down quite a bit as well. So that is something that I'm really looking forward to use with Hitmonlee. I've not really used Hitmonlee before. I usually use Hitmonchan, but Hitmonlee also has really high special defense. So on the specially defensive front, it can definitely live a lot of hits. Well, not a lot of hits, but it can live some hits. The downfall is its HP, which is base 50, but you know, it's something that you know we don't necessarily need as much, especially if we've got like the +1 in our defense and our high special defense now. Next Pokemon, the one Pokemon that I have used in draft format. I think that's actually a lie. I think I have used Umbreon in draft format as well. But Porygon is a fantastic Pokemon. Now, this was worth 2 points. It was a point draft. We had 100 points. It was worth 2 points. And, you know, I saw that and I was like, you know, I have to have my Porygon. My Porygon is important to me. Like, Porygon 2 in the RBL currently is really putting in a lot of work. Porygon in the, I can't think what it was called, in the PLCL, the Phantom's Little Cup League, yeah. That also put in a lot of work, and here I think it definitely puts in a lot of work. Chuck an Eviolite on it, and it would definitely be able to deal with a lot of different scenarios. It has access to things like Trick Room, has access to a variety of different moves like Thunderbolt and Ice Beam, along with Tri-Attack, Shadow Ball, stuff like that. Doesn't have the ability to really set itself up though, which is a little bit of a problem, but it's not necessarily going to be designed to be able to kill other Pokemon, but it can definitely put some damage and some take some hits as well. Things like Toxic as well are always going to be an option, and then even Thunder Wave if I've decided not to go for like the Sticky Web set. Well, no, sorry, if I've decided not to go for Trick Room set, I can always use Thunder Wave on different things, and obviously slow them down, potentially get full powers, and that allows for things like the Thwacky, which is a little bit slower to do some different things. Circuitry can then kind of do different things. Araquanid would probably start to outspeed, so looking quite nicely here. Next up, we've got Rhyperior. Now, Rhyperior was not originally on my radar, but I actually saw that it kind of worked really well with my team. I needed a ground type, and honestly, I always forget about getting a rock type, but rock typing is really good. And Rhyperior just kind of filled in some of the blanks here. I would have liked to have Palossand initially. That was what my original choice was earlier on in the draft, but I did get sniped on that. Literally, I think 2 picks before it happened. Before it was my pick, so you know that happens. There's not as many mons in the league, or in this kind of format, so obviously it was bound to happen multiple times. But yeah, we've got Rhyperior here. Now Rhyperior obviously super high defense, super high attack, a little bit more to desire on the specially defensive front, but realistically it's slow. It can go into a Trick Room, Sticky Webs. We can outspeed a variety of different things. I can use things like Focus Sash and Counter on it, which is really nice. You've got access to things, a variety of different moves. Honestly, it gets so many different moves that I did not realize it gets. But it gets the elemental punches, it gets high horsepower, which is good for my Thwacky situation. We've got things like Rock Wrecker, even Stone Edge, lots of different things like that. And it just gets so much different coverage on different mons, which is on different types, which is really, really nice and really, really helpful in trying to build up a team. It gets access to Crunch as well, I think. So lots and lots of different things. Zen Headbutt probably, but you know, this one is definitely going to be working really well. It combines really nicely with Trick Room or even Sticky Webs if I want to do some speed investment as well. I could always go for Rock Polish, definitely. I think it gets access to Swords Dance as well. So, you know, this thing really does have a lot going for it, and it really kind of suits into my team. So I did need an electric type immunity. Obviously, we've got Araquanid, we've got Galarian Articuno, which do not want to take electric type attacks, and we've got Xurkitree and Thwacky as resistances, but having an immunity is definitely going to be really good because it stops things like Volt Switch spam. And our final mon, now originally I had gone Hattrium here, but we decided to change because I didn't really want the double Psychic, and like we thought that Clang really does deal with a lot of different things. Now Clang doesn't do too many different things, but it can do a couple of bits and bobs. We have got we have got it to be able to do, I don't know if it gets Body Press. If it does get Body Press, then that's really good, but I'm not sure it does. But it does get access to some special attacks, which can be really handy. It does also get access to things like Shift Gear, so Eevee-like Shift Gear is going to be an absolutely fantastic set. I think it gives you it's either +2 in attack, +1 in speed, or +2 in speed, +1 in attack. I think it's +2 in attack and +1 speed, but I cannot remember exactly off the top of my head. I know it does one or the other. And obviously Shift Gear, if I can get one, maybe even two of those set up, Clang is just going to really wreck through the majority of mons. You've got things like Gear Grind, so Sash isn't really anything to worry about. You've got access to different things like Wild Charge as well, but not really many other attacking moves, which is kind of annoying. But you know, those two coverage should hit the vast majority of Pokemon for neutral. I just need to be very cautious about things like, say, ground types. Ground types are a big problem for Clang, but you know, I've got coverage on things like Thwacky, I've got Araquanid, I can get coverage moves on the majority of Pokemon like Tauros. I'm pretty sure I can get a coverage move. So yeah, this should work really, really nicely. And honestly, like, this team, you know, I wasn't really sure about it initially, but I think I have got a nice combination of a lot of power, and I've got a few defensive mons, which definitely allow for me to be able to take some hits and also play some different scenarios. We've got U-turn access and Volt Switch access on some different Pokemon as well. We've got priority access on some different Pokemon also, which is really, really nice. Grassy terrain, which can be really helpful, especially if there's like an NDD around. So obviously we get the Thwacky able to get rid of that, so it can't use things like expanding force for that increased power. But yeah, this team hopefully will work really well. I do hope that we get a lot of wins. I think there's only a 7-week season and then playoffs, so it's a very short league, but we are definitely going to be having a lot of fun here. I'm really excited to be playing through this league, and I'm really excited to have T-Shen as my partner because he's fantastic. Has been really supportive in helping me build my teams so far, because I'm recording this after I've done the first match. But yeah, I really like this team. I really like the bulky aspect. I really like the offensive aspect. I really like using like things like Tauros, Hitmonlee. They are two fantastic mons. I think my speed tiers are also actually pretty good. Like, I've got a large variety of speed Pokemon. I've got a variety of setup Pokemon and a variety of sweeper Pokemon as well. So I think this team kind of, whilst on the initial look it's not super scary, but when you kind of go into it, it does actually get a little bit more terrifying. So that's kind of what I'm kind of working with here, and I'm really hoping that this is going to work super well. But yeah, that's going to be it for the Draft League analysis for the TBL Summer League. I don't know what Summer League this is, but it is just the TBL Summer League. Really excited, really, really looking forward to these battles. Obviously, things will be coming out onto the channel. I'm going to do Thursday, Friday, so Thursday Team Builder, Friday Battle. I think that will work really well. So you have the RBL for a few more weeks on Monday and Tuesday, and then you have the TBL on Thursday and Friday. So that'll be uploads there. I recommend you check them out. Obviously, subscribe, turn on those notifications if you want to see me battle here. If you want to see some low tier experience, I have got quite a bit of experience because I used to play a lot of UU and below on Smogon. or Showdown, because I just personally prefer those tiers. I prefer the slightly more niche Pokemon, and I think that I definitely can make them work. Obviously, I've made competitive guides on basically every single Pokemon that is fully evolved. I would consider going back and doing some for the not fully evolved Pokemon. In fact, I'm actually thinking about doing that and bringing out a series on the NFE Pokemon that are highlight featured, because they do put in a lot of work. But I do just need to do a little bit of research on that beforehand, just to kind of check for what mons I do want to put in there. But yeah, this is really exciting. Please do like, please do subscribe, turn on those notifications, as I said, because you'll get a lot of Draft League content coming out for the next few videos. For the next few weeks, sorry, there'll be 4 videos a week that'll be Draft League format, which is really, really awesome. Anyways, that's all for today. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I'll see you soon.